Hello everyone. First of all, thanks for giving me the opportunity to present at this great conference. The title of my presentation is the Application of Audio Description in Dance Appreciation Education for People with Visual Impairments. The authors of this study includes Jooyeon Kim and Jooyeon from Sangmyeong University and myself, Jooyeon Jin from University of Seoul in Korea. I will give you my talk in this order. Universal design is a social concept of designing our products and the built environment to be usable to the greatest extent possible by everyone, regardless of their age, ability, or status in life. It is also a social movement to eliminate the discriminations and prejudice against gender, age, and disabilities. Practical and academic discussions are actively taking place in various areas such as institutions, public and private facilities, and programs. The importance of universal design is recognized by many fields and professions, including culture and arts in Korea. For individuals with visual impairments, their vision is lost, blurred, or hampered due to many reasons. But they still have strong desire to enjoy the culture and arts, just like people without disabilities. So we have to provide them with information and support so that they experience images, sounds, and colors expressed in an artwork. But accessibility is the issue in this population. Audio description may be an answer for this problem. Audio description can be provided to help people with visual impairment appreciate artworks. AD facilitates accessibility to the artwork by providing additional explanations for not only people with VI, but also people without disabilities. Currently, there are some internationally recognized AD service organizations, and they provide AD in various cultures and arts. In Korea, it is mainly performed in the appreciation of movies and visual arts, but it is quite rare in performing arts, such as musicals and operas. Most Korean performance theaters do not provide people with VI proper support, including audio description services, modified equipment, and interpreted brochures that provide performance information. Despite these accessibility issues, there are still lack of efforts toward providing audio-based support for this population. In our understanding, just one workshop was held in 2020. Internationally, studies regarding AD have been conducted in various ways. But the artwork and the movie screen commentary studies have been dominated in Korea. Mangaros is the only researcher who studied dance for people with VI. In Korea, in my understanding, my co-authors have made the first research effort on AD for dance appreciation for people with VI in 2020. Therefore, a guideline of AD in dance is necessary to utilize universally designed dance in Korea. The purpose of this study was to analyze the cases of AD in dance and suggest a guideline of AD in dance appreciation education for individuals with visual impairments. Specifically, the study focuses on the following research questions. What are the elements of AD in dance appreciation education for people with VI? What are the AD principles in dance appreciation education for this population? How should be the process of creating AD in dance appreciation education for people with visual impairments? To achieve the research purpose, we employed case analysis and Delphi survey method. For case analysis, we reviewed a list of works with AD and selected 5 good pieces, including Revelation, The Nutcracker, The Swan Lake, Terrain, and The Peter Pan. Delphi survey was just conducted in this study. A group of 6 dance experts participated in the analysis of dance video with AD. The dance expert did content analysis on video and audio descriptions. Through the process of cross-reviewing with comparing and contrasting video and audio descriptions, important and common elements and principles were extracted. After that, we inductively went through the procedures for writing a description of dance works. Lastly, we created the Dance AD guideline, considering the principles of universal design for learning. Demographic information of the dance experts are shown in the slides. Four elements of dance AD appeared as follows. Classification of the work information, structure of the work, symbolization of the scenes, creative approaches for imagination. These are the actual examples that are based on the elements of dance AD. The first element is classification of the work information. It is classified according to whether it is factual and extrinsic information about the work or implicit and intrinsic meaning. The second element is structure of the work. It is divided into narrative structure and lyrical structure, depending on whether the story is centered or not. The third element is the symbolization of the scene. It needs to capture the symbolic things in the scene in order to help remind and immerse the scene. Fourth, it is a creative approach for imagination. It is necessary to convey the scenes or information shown in the work through audio descriptions. The point is the description is based on the face and stimulate imagination at the same time. In dance appreciation education for people with VI, the principles of AD should be considered in 3 main aspects. These are the examples based on the dance AD principles in the practical fields. For details on the principles, first, it is to convey the information on the stage. For instance, explicit information such as characters, costumes, and props in the work is mainly a descriptive explanation, while the choreographer's intentions, the metaphors, and abstractions of emotions expressed by the dancers are optionally provided to predict through prior interviews. Second, it is to describe dance movements. Since the expressions of dance cannot be standardized in language, it is necessary to choose words with extra care in AD. In particular, symbolic words, mimicry words, and metaphors must be properly used to represent choreography and movements, body movements and forms. In order to expertise in debrief, sufficient discussions and reviews with choreographers and dancers are required. Third, it is to consider multisensory stimulation for the imagination of people with VI. For people with VI who have developed hearing or tactile senses, it is necessary to stimulate various senses to help them access dance works. Thus, it is better to support translated data, headsets, and other forms of information. In addition, it is useful to have tactile experiences such as objects, stage equipment, and costumes that are displayed in the work before and after the performance. Especially in dance appreciation education, it is quite important to have appreciation with linked dance classes in which you talk about your thoughts on the main scene and express yourself with your body. Degrees of the languages that symbolize movements can be depending on what they can see, previous experiences, and additional disability, and their learning styles. This is probably a part that needs to be improved through many clinical trials and feedback in the future. In this study, based on the case videos and audio descriptions, we inductively organized what should be priorities in writing audio descriptions. Therefore, we were able to suggest the creation stages of dance AD as follows. First, it is to classify dance work by each scene. Second is to check the time which process phases within the scene. Third, AD needs to consider the priority of what should be depicted in the scene. It includes a variety of elements, including the dancer's gestures, facial expressions, the background of the performance stage, and costumes. Fourth, it is creation of the sentence and composition. In this process, the aforementioned principles are applied. However, rather than seeking grammatically perfect sentences, the words that can describe the scene are efficiently arranged and kept as simple as possible. Fifth is checking the proper length of AD sentence in the scene. Lastly, it is the cross-validation of AD relevance with the played scene. It needs to check the connections between the sentence and sentence efficiently explain the scene. Previous studies on AD in various fields emphasized stimulating imagination with appreciating arts in AD for people with VI. To support the findings of this study, that creative approaches must be included, not just factual information. Like previous researches on AD in movies, dramas, and musicals, there is a commonality that AD scripts should be suggested by each scene. However, unlike these fields, the field of dance has its distinctive characteristics. That means dance does not have dialogues. So it should be applied in the information on choreography and movements, instead of dialogue is separately explained. Further research endeavors are necessary in the future. Previous studies suggested universal design for learning principles that minimize obstacles and improve accessibility to make all learners participate. So it is utilized as a goal and for evaluation purposes. The AD guideline in dance appreciation education for people with VI can be seen as reflecting the principles and directions of UDR, such as the principles of fairness, flexibility by situations, simple and intuitive provisions, and presentations of recognizable information. Through the research process to prepare AD guidelines for dance appreciation, the professional groups commonly raised the basic premise that should accompany dance audio descriptions. First, dance AD should be based on expertise in dance, aesthetics, and criticism. To elicit an understanding and sympathy for a work to people with VI who might not experience directly observed dance, it is necessary to have a professional ability to provide meaningful and accurate descriptions and explanations based on a deep understanding and insight about the work. Second, dance works must be selected in professional perspectives. When people with VI encounter the appreciation of dance first time, it is easier for them to understand and imagine the work with narrative structures of dance, followed by a story. Thus, it is necessary to consider dance appreciation education that gradually expands the range of appreciation from a narrative structure to a lyrical structure. This study emphasizes the importance of dance appreciation education for people with visual impairments. To make this happen, it is necessary to write AD efficiently. As you can see, I'd like to propose a model of AD guideline in dance appreciation education for individuals with VI. This guideline will be useful not only in educational venues for the disability population, but also in performance halls as well as for dance educators and practitioners in dance groups and performance venues. I wish we continue our efforts to develop action research to advance the guideline with practical examples in the near future. Thank you for your attention.